camp.
Okay. This is also what I wanna get to. So basically, and also like working as a designer in general is like a really similar feeling to it. A lot of
Yeah.
times you will feel that you are rushed. You don't have time to like finish everything as you want to finish them. But it's part of being a designer. And also working as a designer sometimes can be like high intensity. So a lot of demands, a lot of stress, a lot of deadlines. This is the part which I think we are not talking that much about, right? But yeah, it's definitely going to get stressful. That's one thing. The other thing, your work is good. It's good enough level. Yeah, the case study is not ready, but you're definitely on the right track. That's why I want to urge you and want to push you in that way of like not overcomplicating things, because trust me, Jelena, just like as much in life, you're never going to feel that you are ready. You're never going to feel that you are good enough. You're never going to feel that you know everything. You're never going to feel that it's perfect, especially not in design. Like especially design, like our job is to like keep improving. And to be honest, you can improve anything for endless amount of times. There is no end of improving, just as much as for you as a person, just as much for any product. That's why Spotify or Uber or Google is being like 15 years on the market, or Amazon 15 or 20 years or maybe even 30 years ago on the market. But the thing is that they are still improving. They still have designers, they still have engineers who are working day after day of like making the product better, right? So my point is that nothing is going to be perfect. It's never perfect. So you have to accept the fact that it's not going to be something which you can be like 100% happy about, sort of.
Yeah.
So I think what is more likely to happen, that you still feel like that your work is not good enough, your level is not good enough, and you're deep down somewhere you're afraid that once you're going to start applying for jobs, you are going to get rejected, and it's going to turn out that you are actually not good enough to be a designer. Do you think that there could be something like this going on?
Yes.
Okay, listen to me. If you are not regardless of how you are feeling, regardless of what you are thinking, these actions and steps and structures which I'm telling you to do, and the way how we are planning out everything and the way how we are doing everything is a proven method which I've been taught during our bootcamp times as well. So obviously like and I'm really sure you guys were taught a really similar structure to like create a case study, and I'm really sure during the bootcamp as well for you, they have told you to like, you have to make a case study, you have to start applying for work, blah 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 blah. And the stories which I was telling for you guys during the Q&A, during the live call yesterday, all of them were like 100% true. Regardless of like how you are feeling, creating a case study which is working, creating a case study which is like logically built up, you don't have to worried about if like how well the UX is right now, how functional it would be in real life. The job of the case study is not to like work in real life or be perfect, but the job is rather to like showcase that you know the essential steps of being a designer. You know how to go through the design thinking process, you know how to do research, you know how to figure out a feature, and you know how to make a good looking design. And your case study and the work which we've been creating in the past 3 to 4 weeks is definitely showing all of these points. But if we are not going to move forward, we're never going to get to a point where you can start applying and you actually can start landing jobs.
I know you're right.
So my suggestion would be to like rather just try to forget of like what if or all the negative self-beliefs which you have right now, because they are irrelevant. What matters is like if your case study is ready and if you can start applying for jobs, because that's going to be the time when it's actually going to be turning out if what you have is like enough or not. And I can tell you for a fact, the reason why I was pushing you to like use this structure, the reason why I was pushing to like make the UI better, the reason why I was pushing to use this structure, doing these steps, because I know that this is what is working. I'm also, as I said, I also was in situations when I was hiring for other designers. I also been in many situations when I was being interviewing for other design position, and I was also talking to a lot of senior designers who are interviewing and hiring people for the job. And these are the steps and these are the content which I know that they are looking for, okay? With the help of mine, in the recent, let's say, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, 4 other people had been hired just because we were working on their UI skills, because we were working on their case study, because we've been working on their interviewing skills, with the presentation skills during interviews, and just because I told them to like, okay, I know it's going to suck, yeah, it's going to be bad, I know it's hard to like push yourself through all of these stages. There is like a lot of stage where, you know, we feel like that we don't want to do something, we are doubting ourselves, just like as you are doing right now, and just as me myself, like a lot of situations I'm still like doubting myself if I'm good enough for like, you know, teaching people or talking for other people to like do what tell like what to do or how to do, or if I'm just even like good enough for like landing like a high paying senior role or like a lead designer role, for example. I'm still doubting myself a lot of times. But regardless of that, of what I'm thinking, it doesn't change the outcome, right? If you're going to get hired, it doesn't matter if you think your work is good or not. If you're going to start applying for jobs and landing interview, it doesn't really matter like what you yourself think about the work itself. Yeah, you have to be confident about your skills, but I can tell you for a fact, me, after like looking at a lot of other designs, and every day when people are joining the free group, I'm checking their portfolios. Usually if they are not good enough designers, I'm not going to let them in because that would be too much work, where I don't think I'm the right person for helping them. But my point is that I'm looking at a lot of designers' work. And you remember when yesterday I said that, the reason why most people are not getting invited for interviews just for the sheer fact that they are not good enough designers, right? And you are definitely falling into the better end of the spectrum. You are having all of the qualities which I would look for in a designer, which is like just being a nice person, having communication skills, knowing what to do, carrying out the work by yourself, doing like a good design overall. And for example, like even like every day we were talking of like, okay, what's going to be the next steps. Still, like everything which we can see here on the board, here in Figma, is like your work, right? It wasn't me. I was not working here and there. Sometimes I was leaving a few comments, giving you suggestions, but everything has been created by you in the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Just as much the research and just as much the design itself. It was you. And not only this, but you were also finishing like other projects during your bootcamp. It's already like proving that you're capable of doing these things. You are having all of the qualities and skills, okay? So that's why I'm trying to push you and trying to focus on like finishing this case study and focusing more on like, okay, now we can start building this thing, because I know that you are capable of that. The reason why you started your bootcamp, the reason why you spend a lot of money and time on the bootcamp, the reason why you are still working with me and still pushing this idea, because deep down yourself, you also believe that you are capable of doing that, right? You also know that, this is something which you can do and you want to do, right? Just think about the end goal. Like once you're going to be there, I can tell you it's going to be worth it, because it's really nice, like especially your first job. Like I was so happy. I was literally not crying, but like almost, I was like literally in like an emotional state, because I was just so happy. So take your time, keep working on that, but I just want to give like a deadline for this project, because I don't want you to like spend too much time on it, okay? You're definitely going in the right direction, but I just want to tell you, Jelena, that you are good enough, okay? You have the skills, okay? We still don't have the assets, we still don't have the case studies. Still, like there is a few things left, but you're definitely in the right path, okay? And also, like I know that we agreed on like 4 weeks, and actually that would be, I think, the last day. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Right. But regardless, I don't want to leave you alone, and I know like how much it sucks of going through all of these stages. So I'm going to stay with you, I don't know, for maybe 1 or 2 weeks more until we are not finishing the Framer website. Okay, I'm going to give you like a step-by-step afterwards of like how you can apply, what you should look out for, etc., etc. Okay, so we're going to figure out a way how we can make it
Thanks
work.
about it. I will try to follow your structure and tips and ideas, but and I don't want to stop you either. So I made an effort
Yeah, I can
today,
see that.
but yeah,
I can tell like the case study is already like looking really nice. Okay, but I just want you
yeah,
want you to urge or motivate or make you think that it, as I said at the beginning, it's nothing going to be perfect. It's never going to feel like that it's enough. It's never going to feel like that's that's good. Like even like just like if I look back at to my any of my designs still to this day, even if I made them like recently, like newer designs, I still like immediately notice all of the things which I could have done better, which I could have done otherwise. But we also have to understand, especially as designers, that a lot of cases we're not going to have enough time, we're not going to have enough resources. So that's pretty much what you are feeling is normal, and this is how hard is feeling, right? Like I bet that when you were starting out your UX UI design journey, you didn't think it was easy, right? Or it's going to be easy.
yeah.
And now
And
what
I
you
never was feeling as well
yeah
to be to make something perfect
yeah
and good enough.
and
Yeah, okay.
and now what you are feeling, this kind of like self or inner resistance, this kind of like maybe I'm not good enough, maybe it could be better, maybe I'm not going to be invited for interviews, stuff like this. These are all the things and all the like sort of like steps or like barriers, I would rather say, which going to differentiate between people who are going to get hired and people who are not going to get hired, because this is all of the stages which every designer and every people who are starting out in the industry going to go through and have to go through. But this is how hard feels like, this is how challenging feels like, this is how difficulties like overcoming challenges feels like. This is normal and this is what everybody has to go through. But that's why, as I said yesterday in the presentation, that's why 98% of the designers are being shitty, because they are just not putting enough work. They are just not putting enough attention to their work, and they just think that even without that they're going to land a job. But you're definitely not one of them. I see that you're trying, I see that you're doing it. You're definitely on the right path with everything, and whatever you're feeling right now is like pretty much normal, and we've all been there. Like if you would talk to any designers, and even you would be surprised, but if I'm talking to like designers with like 10 or 15 years of experience, a lot of times even they don't know like what would be the best next step. They themselves not sure about the design or a design decision, or like a leadership or management decisions. Even themselves, they not correct or 100% all the time, just as you or myself as well. So that's pretty much normal what you're feeling like, but don't let it hold you back from like getting to the end of everything. You still have